Welcome back to Forever United TV. Good morning, happy Monday morning. We're bringing you completely up to date here on the channel before you head out for work, school run, whatever you're up to this morning. Bringing you all the Man United news after what has been a very good weekend for Manchester United. Results-wise on the pitch, all around the Premier League, that has been excellent. So you know as well, after this show this morning, we're going to do a double live show. We're straight over to Football Talks right after this to go through all the Premier League, the ins and outs, let's just say the hits and misses again. We're going to do that this morning after what happened all the way through the weekend. But a good weekend for Manchester United. An important week ahead for Manchester United also. Romano coming through this morning with some updates around what Sir Jim Ratcliffe's plans are for the future, in particular this week, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe being ever-present this week at Carrington. I'm going to tell you why this is important, what's actually going on, what Romano has said, what the plan is for Manchester United and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, but something that has been needed at this football club for years right now, and is a real positive, I feel. We're going to explain that. We're going to talk about 3 academy players in particular as well, all with different outlooks of what might happen coming forward this transfer window, this January transfer window. In fact, big names, 3 big academy players you know well actually. Transfer news on top of that as well, possibles coming forward. As always, we'll cover all of that right at the end of the show, just to keep you completely up to date with everything going on. Get yourselves into the comment section if you are live with us right now. If you are catching up later on, get into the comments and let me know your thoughts on all the stories and topics that we're talking about. Rocking the special Manchester United training top again today. Get onto the links in the description as well for OK Jerseys to grab your bargains now. Christmas isn't far away. I know you're panicking me saying that, but grab your bargain shirts right now, as little as £15 for any shirt that you want of OK Jerseys. That is in the description, everybody, and you will see the QR code popping up on your screen every time as well, every few minutes. So get onto that also. Grab yourself a bargain. Let's get into the news. Let's talk to Jim Ratcliffe. What's going on? What is Romano talking about, and why is this such an important week for Manchester United? Yes, it's an important week because we need to go out and beat Brentford, and preparation for that is key. Now, can Manchester United back up the win against Chelsea? Romano talking about Sir Jim Ratcliffe being there in the stands at weekend, and to be honest, I am not bothered. You can be a silent owner, but showing a little bit of presence every now and then, and actually being in and around what's going on at your club that you've invested in, that you want to run perfectly well, is definitely a positive for me. I'll go through what Romano said first of all, and then we'll dissect it and go into where it's important for Manchester United moving forward. So Jim Ratcliffe is never going to influence Amorim on the tactical point of view or on his philosophy. He just wants to understand. He wants to understand and wants to be present because he wants to help, basically, is what Romano is saying there. And again, you can take this with a pinch of salt. He just wants to be there, wants to help, wants to understand things. Of course, if this was me, for instance, on this, then I would want to be at the forefront. I would want to know if I'm going to invest over $1 billion into something, then I want to be there. I want to see what's going on. I want to make sure that investment is being run right. And this is something that we've not had before. I'll go on first for everything else that Romano has just said here. He was in the stands for the Manchester derby, in the stands for the Chelsea game also, and present before the game against Chelsea to talk to Ruben Amorim. He wants to help and make sure everything is going in the best way possible for the club. So this is the reason for his presence, for the presence of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He also wants to be absolutely super present again this week, absolutely monitoring everything, and he wants to make sure everything is going in the right direction. Absolutely, and super in all of them words, Romano's words, obviously, because that's a quote from his video, but you get where he's coming from there. Ruben Amorim knows what Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants. The relationship between them two is key for this club going forward at this point in time, I feel, because like he said at the top there, the important thing is that he's not going to get involved in the football side of things, but everything else around this football club that has been taken for granted for so long is not going to happen again under Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I think that's been made pretty clear on this, and I think this is absolutely vital. And get your comments in on this. Do you think silent owners are better, or do you feel like an actual presence there at a club of Manchester United's size is important? Because you look at all of the other big owners at big football clubs, and you look how often they're on TV, or when they're in the stands, when they're watching, or when they're over, when things are happening, events and things like this. And you look at Manchester United compared to other football clubs. You look at when Roman Abramovich was there, now Todd Bowley at Chelsea. You look at Sheikh Mansour at Manchester City, the ownership model at Newcastle United. All of these big, rich owners, the presence in the stands, the presence around the football club, I've invested into this. I am not going to allow this to completely deteriorate. Look at Manchester United in the past, decade? Where were the Glazers? They were just letting their merry men run the football club into the ground. It sounds stupid, it sounds simple, it sounds like something that you should just expect to be there, but for some reason this football club has allowed itself to be run by agencies, allowed itself to be run by bankers, and allowed itself to completely bury itself in the ground and then let everybody go past it and everybody advance and go to the next level of football. And this is why we are so far behind right now, because of how the club has been allowed to run. You could say Manchester United are right up there with the amount of money that's been invested into players. Look at the transfer markets, look at the windows, and look who's right up there in the last 10 years. And you will see United in the top 3, competing alongside Chelsea and Manchester City. If you're spending that amount of money, then how the hell are you so far behind the other clubs? It's because of the way we've been run. So Jim Ratcliffe and his investments, you only have to look at the players that have come in, what he's done. You can clearly see it having an impact instantly on the football club. A better training ground, a better setup inside of Old Trafford, the tunnel and everything like that. Getting rid of the executive stand in the Stretford end, building an atmosphere, which is decent and has been decent. I can tell you that for nothing because I'm sat right there next to it. So it has been a lot better. And he has created that. The players that he has brought in are definitely players we're looking at right now as the future of this football club and the players we want in our side. Whereas before we looked at players that just weren't worth the money or weren't even the right type of player to bring in for Manchester United. All of these tiny little decisions going on. But then you move into why Sir Jim Ratcliffe is at Carrington. Why does he want to be there? Why does he want to be in amongst it? Well, again, like I said, if I've invested that amount of money, I want to know that that money is going in the right direction. I want to know that that money is actually being used in the right way. The people that you've invested in are doing their jobs. The equipment that's been invested in is being used the right way. The people operating that equipment and looking after the players, which is ultimately going to bring the money back into Manchester United and turn this profit that they want, is all working together in harmony. And again, it sounds stupid. It sounds like a nothing story, doesn't it? It does when you think of it. But this hasn't been happening at Manchester United for over a decade. It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. And the fact that he's there, I have not got one problem with at all. Not one. And I can see he wants it to work with Ruben Amorim. Like that line there, he will never get in the way or try and influence anything on the football side, the philosophy or anything like that. Good, because let's be honest, Jim, he knows nothing about football. But what he does know is business, and he does know what is necessary. He knows that people in the right profession need to be brought in certain areas of the pitch. You listen to what Jason Wilcox said the other day, and I'll just go back to that now. And this is why it's important, why they went out and got Jason Wilcox. Experience from bottom up at the highest level. As a player, winning the Premier League. As an academy coach coming through, and an academy director at Manchester City at the elite level, working there. Then he goes on to the next job, which was at Southampton, obviously as a sporting director, and doing the job there and impressing to a level within 6 or 7 months. Manchester United are taking him out of there and using him as their technical director. This and them types of people, Omar Barada, Christopher Vivell, everyone like this at Manchester United being put in place. That's what Sir Jim knows. He knows that you have to get the right people in, working in. And you can have a go at Sir Jim for whatever you want, the way that he's run the club, the people that he's got rid of, the redundancies, the way that he's upped the prices and the tickets and things like that. But he does understand that for that price, there does need to be a better brand of football, and this football club needs to use everything in its power to make it worthwhile for the fans to come to the stadium. I can actually see them trying to make this work for the fans. Even though we're paying more, we know that behind the scenes, people are actually working to try and get better results for Manchester United, and it has to all go in that direction. But it just goes to show, a story like this being talked about would be something that you wouldn't have even heard of before at Manchester United, where this was common knowledge, this was common day-to-day practice for every other football club in the Premier League. And this, as good as this is, and as important as this is, and like I'm saying, is still a massive embarrassment for this football club. It really is. Because everything that was going on in that last decade that I've just talked about, nearly every single member of staff in important roles and positions at the football club has gone. So it's quite clear why Sir Jim Ratcliffe is there. He knows that you cannot let your foot off the pedal for 1 minute at the highest level in football. And that's what United have done. And now he's there. He's making sure that everybody on top of their game. He's not going around cracking the whip. He's not going around making sure that everybody's doing their jobs and checking in on everything like that. But it's the presence of an owner, of someone who's invested billions into a business and a football club, and that person being there in and around it. It's like, this is no nonsense. This is not messing. And look, you can laugh it off all you want. And I know there'll be people doing that. And even in this video, in the chat, people laughing about what we're talking about here. But these are the little things that Manchester United have let slip. These are the problems that have got Manchester United where they are now. And that, I think, is the important thing about Sir Jim Ratcliffe being in and amongst it. When have we ever heard from an owner in the last 10 years from Manchester United? Not done one interview, the Glazers. All we've heard is numpties talking, like Arnold, like Woodward, like Murto, who just weren't qualified for the job. Ridiculous. And now within 18 months, we're hearing from sporting directors, we're hearing from directors of football, we're hearing from the operations manager, the CEOs, the owners, from every single level, from the coaches all the way up to the highest level to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who has invested the money. We're hearing from all of these people now. That presence and that's the best word to describe that there. That, like, them being seen and talking about what's going on at Manchester United is what everybody at Manchester United needs to see. You can't get away with nothing anymore. And this is how you'll get rid of stupid things like leaks. Constantly being on top of things. Not letting this club run the way it is. Not letting SEG walk around Carrington and do whatever they want. Inviting whoever they want into Carrington to do whatever. Causing problems within the squad. Unrest within the squad because of certain people that they like and certain other people won't like. All of that going on at Manchester United is now dead. And it's being run like a proper football club. It's going to take time for that to take over and then turn into results, obviously, but the groundwork and everything that's important is actually happening right now. And in the midst of all of the football and everything that's going on at the moment at United, the wins, the losses, Ruben, the squad, the players we don't like, just a little reminder again that behind the scenes, things aren't going to let up and things have to be completely on top of everything that's going on. And that, I think, is the important message from this here. And I think this is what Manchester United are trying to push out. They're trying to let the fans know that we're not just wasting time here. We're not just accepting that this is okay anymore. There is things happening behind the scenes. I do believe that there is still thought of what happens if Ruben doesn't succeed. You have to think like that. So when the stories come out about Ruben not having anyone behind him or lined up to come in, I don't believe that. I don't think anybody believes that. They do believe, I think we all believe that Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe want Ruben Amorim to succeed. I 100% think that is the case. But don't be naive enough to think that there's not somebody else in the pecking order or being lined up in case things go wrong. There has to be. And that, I think, again, helps everybody at Manchester United. It's like, don't let up. It has to be on point. And this will eventually, well, we hope eventually, feed into the players and actually be a reason why Manchester United start to improve and get further forward. I think that is key in all of this. So just wanted to make a big point about that at the start there. I want to get your comments on this. Are you bothered? Are you worried about this? How do you see it? Are you liking silent owners better? The blueprint is there everywhere else. Look, everywhere else. I mean, you could argue Liverpool, probably not as much presence there, but they employed people to run that football club that should be running that football club from the start. So too as every other person in that higher ranking in ownership of football clubs, and especially the big guns that we're chasing down. They've got the right people in place. And now we have as well, trying to start catching up and slowly build up a little bit of momentum, I think, Manchester United right now. Right, let's get into your thoughts on this. Where you're at with the ownership model, everybody. In terms of silent, do you want the presence there? Do you want them to just sit back and allow the people to run the football club? Or is this important that you actually do see what's happening. You do see people who have invested into the football club wanting to make sure that it's being used the right way. Robbie says, at least Jim Ratcliffe attends matches often, unlike the Glazers. Like I said, it's a point. He's there, he wants it, he's passionate about it. So, again, that has got to be a plus point. Manny's in with another super chat. Thank you, Manny. Again, Ratcliffe showing a united front is good business and messaging. The media hammer us regardless. He has the resources to help Ruben succeed, and he's practical. He can be the gopher to make Ruben succeed. Helping Ruben Amorim, I think, comes in surrounding him with the right people and support. And I think he's got that. I think that's definitely right, Manny, on that one. Zane, what's up with you, mate? What's wrong with the sad super sticker, buddy? You did all right yesterday, I thought. Although there is a bit of a backlash for Arsenal. A lot of fans moaning about them not going for the kill against Manchester City. I would look the other way. I would look at, and I did a review on Football Talks on this, why was Pep Guardiola going so defensive? That was the one that I picked out. Guardiola going parking the bus against Arsenal. That's how I looked at that game yesterday. Look, it worked out in the end better for everybody else. The fact that we are still level points with Manchester City after 5 games. Still, I think we've got to look at that and say it worked out to be a good weekend for United, particularly after last weekend anyway. So cheers for that, Zay, mate. You kept City in check, and Manchester United can laugh at them a little bit for the weekend, particularly in the way that Pep Guardiola approached that game. My God. Boxer says, unless we learn these lessons very quickly, unless we put better protection into the structure of our game, we will see something like this again. In terms of the last 10 years, Boxer, and like mistakes that we've made, yeah, I think so. I agree. I think that's where you're going with that anyway. 6 points is in our next 2 games going into the international break. It could really set us up for the season, honestly. I'll talk about that again at the end of the show. But yeah, mate, Tomo, massive, buddy. Really is. You're exactly right, Adam, says Mark Ash. If you invest, you want to ensure your investment is running smoothly. So Jim Ratcliffe visibility should show those who may be a problem that they can't F about. No issue here. Fair enough. Great comment again there, Marcus. I think it's right. People talking about Belabor in the chat as well. We move on to the transfer stuff at the back end of the show, so keep them conversations going, everybody. We will move on to that, actually. So keep your little debates flying up there in the live chat, everyone. I am looking at them. I am seeing them. I'm going to move into the transfers a little bit later on, where we're talking about a few other little things as well, including them academy play. So keep that coming, everybody. Don't forget as well, everyone, we are continuing the Match Bingo bonus this weekend over on the channel. We're using it here and on Football Talks for the watch-alongs as well. Busy weekend watch-along for the Brentford game. Then there's a full Soccer Saturday fixture list as well that we're doing. We're going right through on Saturday. Match Bingo, 200% bonus. If you scan the QR code or hit that link in the comment section or in the description of this video, download the app, put in the promo code FUTV all caps, and boost your deposit by 200%. Yes, 200. The games are only £2. They're easy to play. A bingo while watching a football match. It's brilliant. It's a laugh. And loads of people have won already. You're missing out if you haven't. So hit the promo code FUTV. 200, not 20. No, not 20. 200. Add an extra 0. 200%. Mega booster bonus on Match Bingo. Again, I think we're running it throughout the month. I've been on it and I've made sure that we can keep it so everyone can grab a chance of winning. And we have had a few, so keep at it, everybody. Let's see what else we've got in the chat here as well. Ruben is protecting the squad by taking all the focus. Ratcliffe is protecting Ruben by showing his support. And I actually, do you know what? It's a good point, mate, that actually. I kind of agree with that one. You've got a really good point there. Zane, okay, here we go. We got a super chat from Zane. This is always an entertainment on a Monday morning. Arteta and Amorim, both cowards. Both should go. Eza not starting. Sacked. Sacked he should be. You can have Southgate though. Zane, come on, mate. You're second in the league. That's where you belong. You haven't. Look, you're up against Liverpool. I'm sorry. Do you know what Arsenal are? Arsenal are like the Andy Murray of his era. You came in, you thought you were a big cheese, you were really good, but unfortunately for you, you had a Djokovic, you had a Nadal, you had a Federer, all there in front of you as well. Unfortunately for Arsenal, in the time when you should be winning the league, when you've got a really good team, there's somebody better. And unfortunately for you, that's your time, Zane, mate. Yes, you're better than United. Yes, we can't even come into the same conversation. But no, you will not win one of the major trophies. Sorry, mate. It's just the way it is. But continue playing good football and moaning about Arteta constantly getting you second in the league. I think there's a few United fans that would accept a little bit of that at the moment, mate. But yeah, unfortunately for you, mate, that is where you're at. But yeah, look, you carried on. You got the point, mate. You got the point. I did make a point about Arsenal only managing to score one outfield goal from outplay against City, Liverpool and Manchester United, though. You could blame that on Arteta. I'll give you that one, Zane. It's something for you to think about there, buddy. Any new stadium news, please, Adam? And in Jim, we should trust the club is miles better since his arrival. It is. It is. The structure of this football club is better with Ineos. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. You cannot argue it. Argue the prices. Argue certain things that are being saved by the football club. If United start winning, no one gives a toss. I'm going to tell you that now. I'm going to say it bluntly. I know. Probably shouldn't do it that way. But still, that's the way it's going to be. No one cares. No one cares who left Manchester United if United are winning. If things and crucial decisions and big decisions like this are made for the football club and United are winning games, no one cares. That's all it is. The football club and the business side of it, the finances of that football club, nobody really gives a toss about unless it's actually doing something on the pitch. And that's why Manchester City are the way they are. That's why Arsenal are the way Liverpool are there. Newcastle, Chelsea, like nobody cares what's going on off the pitch, who the owners are, what's going on, because the football on the pitch is working. That's where you're at. Not so much Newcastle at the moment, no, I would say. Not so much Newcastle. In terms of the stadium itself, Nick, nothing update-wise in particular. Again, the situation is as it was before. Manchester United want the new stadium. Ineos want the new stadium. The investment side of things does take a little bit of time. Investors have to come in. Manchester United at the moment are still in negotiations with the freight company regarding the removal of that freight station. And obviously the council and government are also involved on that side of things as well. That's something that they will get help from the council. And from what I know so far, that is still in discussion at the moment, but no update on that. When that does go through, or that actually does happen, Manchester United, I don't actually know if, like what was said at the time of the stadium, that the stadium can be built overseas and then shipped in. Whether it's been started, I don't think it is. I'm sure we'll get updates on that as we go forward, Nick, mate. Adam, I'm hoping Sir Jim has a deal with the Glazers that if he turns United around before the new stadium, he can increase his ownership level. See, I always thought that they would levy the stadium against the Glazers. Why are the Glazers not investing into it? And this is what the thing is. It's like, in the 18 months that Ineos have come in, just to say this, look, we've got a brand new Carrington, state-of-the-art, MRI scanners, everything like that. There's just like night and day. Everything has changed there. A better looking Old Trafford inside area for the players and things like that. Just little investments here and there and everywhere. And we've got better players being brought in by a better structure of employment of better people running a football club at Manchester United. We've also now seen plans for a brand new 100,000 seater stadium at Manchester United. But where were the Glazers in all of this, in any of this? Nowhere. A businessman who absolutely eclipses the wealth of the Glazers, who understands what it's like to make it in business, would not go in blindly into this knowing that everything that he puts in can be taken away by the Glazers. There is something there behind the scenes that we don't know about. I am convinced of that Sir Jim has got with the Glazers in terms of deal to maybe take this club further going forward. Ineos need the team to be successful, and they will do everything to make the team successful. In terms of what they get from it, let's not be stupid and naive again here, thinking that they're just here to leave a legacy. No, I'm sorry. Businessmen who are billionaires like Sir Jim, who's in the top 10 richest club owners, I think, in the world now, at our football club, they don't just go and do that. They're in that position for a reason. They will have something lined up. They know what they're doing. If it would be the biggest embarrassment ever if the Glazers pulled the rug from under Ineos right now. I just cannot see it happening. And people of that power and people in them positions don't allow this to happen. Glazers won't be paying it will be on the debt, but the difference is the stadium pays for itself, not like the current debt. See, the situation with the stadium is that the Glazers know that that investment is going to come through financing. That investment into buying the stadium and fixing it is going to come from what the fans pay, from what Manchester United do. They need the team to be successful. We need to be in the Champions League. We need to be in the Club World Cup. We need to rocket the sponsorships off the back of that and turn Manchester United into a profitable football club again. They know this. And the investments in the stadium is going to come from the finances, and it will hit Manchester United hard for a while the stadium is being built. We know this, which is why it's important to get the academy in place and lined up perfect to feed the Manchester United first team as well, which is a big push from the club at the moment. So you can see the foundation being built there to fund Manchester United going forward and find these better players. This is the plan, because they know the stadium build is going to really hit Manchester United financially. And it will affect what we can do in the transfer market also. But when that stadium is built, and an example of this right now, so this stadium is being built to house concerts, boxing events, NFL. All of this will come to Manchester United. We will get that American franchise-style stadium that everybody uses around the world. This is what this is being built for right now. And the Old Trafford, by the way, is going to be bigger than the Bernabeu. But to compare the Santiago Bernabeu right now to what could possibly be Manchester United, and let's not forget, we're going to be bigger than that stadium. That stadium generates, and this was a report done by Forbes, I think it was actually, that stadium generates $1 million a day. A day. The Bernabeu. So that stadium on its own, in the day, with tours, concerts, events, everything that it does, including match days, obviously, that bumps up most of it. But everything else, the day-to-day running of the Bernabeu generates $1 million a day. $365 million a year. And that's through season, out of season. That's the average, what that stadium earns. Can you imagine what a new Manchester United stadium, 100,000-seater stadium, which will be bigger than the Bernabeu, what that could generate with everything, the pull that Manchester United have got as well on that. That's where you start to really make an impact. And United, by the way, will fill that stadium. They will fill it. You know they will. The NFL, the boxing, everything that comes with that for Manchester United, that is going to be absolutely huge for this football club going forward. And Ineos know this. They know that that stadium is going to pay its way, and they know it's going to earn them an absolute fortune. So why would they invest all of their time with the Glazers still sat on their sun lounges at the poolside in Florida while they're doing all of the talking about this new design stadium? Why do you think they would do that, knowing that the Glazers are going to just come and pull the rug from them and take it all away? It's not going to happen. You don't go this deep unless you've got a plan. Look, you could say that I don't know anything. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't. But come on. Do you really think someone with the wealth of Sir Jim Ratcliffe and what he's done in his whole career and what he's been through business-wise is willing to allow the Glazers to do that to him? You know he's not. You know he's not. So, yeah, on that side of things, I'm fully confident that Ineos know what money is going to be generated by this stadium. Ineos know that they will basically pay for that stadium in a few years with what it's going to generate. So the cost of that, I think, is definitely going to, I think, when we look at it, I personally think that 3 or 4 years that will all be paid for. It will. It will be paid for. And don't forget, we have got the Football Talks video coming up as well. And that will be, I'm just trying to find the actual video right now. don't know why that's not working. Sorry, something's not quite working on linking the video up for later. We'll figure that out towards the back end of the show. We've got a bit more to talk about. Keep your comments coming in, everybody. Probably a great time to invest in Manchester United shares right now. We're at the lowest point we're ever going to be at. It's very true, actually. If you are going to go and invest, then I would actually go and do it now, just because Manchester United are probably on the cusp of moving right up there. I know it's a big if they get it right. Robbie says with the super chats, will INEOS be majority shareholders soon? It's a good question. I don't think so soon. No. Is that the plan? Yeah, I think they want full ownership. Look, as much as Sir Jim Ratcliffe, this is the whole point in what they did. This is why I know Sir Jim Ratcliffe has a plan. For him to come out and big up the Glazers, that wasn't good for the fans. But as a businessman, what would you rather get? Who would you rather get into bed with if you wanted to purchase something? The person you're buying something off, or people like the fans who are against the business that you're wanting to buy something off? You're going to get into bed with the Glazers. Yeah, this is obviously giving the fans something to hit INEOS with. And I'm not just fully backing INEOS blindly here at all. I'm just explaining why I think he's done what he's done. And I think the full investment into Manchester United will come later down the line. But he has got in with the Glazers. He's talking about the Glazers, but he knows the mess. All he talks about is the mess and how much rope certain management teams at Manchester United have been given and what mistakes have been made. It's INEOS who employed them management teams. It's the Glazers who employed them management teams. So really, he can talk all he wants in public, saying they're good people, they want the best for the club and all of this and all of that, but he wants it for himself. He wants it for INEOS. He wants to run Manchester United out. I cannot see him looking at the blueprints and everything that the Glazers were running and looking at the figures thinking that that's someone I want to be in business with. Can you imagine? No. Eventually, he knows what the long game is when it comes to finance, and I think that's where we'll be. I do. But we'll see as well. When it comes to it, there will be big change at Manchester United. So I do think that in the future, the finances and things like this at his football club will look completely different. And when that stadium is built, it will be a complete transformation on Manchester United's books. And that's when I think they're going to start wanting a little bit more power. Adam, no matter how much money Sir Jim and INEOS puts in, especially the stadium, the Glazers own United lock, stock and barrel, and that includes the new stadium and the Glazers not putting a penny in. Henry, come on, mate. Again, you can say what's there in front of you and you can state the obvious, but again, like we said, INEOS are not going to invest into something that isn't theirs. That's why it's being financed. And don't forget, as well, in all of this, like I'm saying this all along, INEOS own a lot of the ground around Old Trafford. They know exactly what they're doing. They're going to earn from this one way or another. They're not going to allow the Glazers to take everything from it. There is a deal that we don't know about. People like Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his team don't just allow other people to run their businesses. Look at what they've done and how they've changed Manchester United. Their investment into Manchester United is being run now by people from INEOS that they have employed in all areas of the club, even financially. As reported by The Athletic, they have people now doing more than just the football operations, which was what we were told originally is happening. The Glazers own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were originally going to build a new stadium there, but now are discussing stadium improvements instead. That sounds like the Glazers. It does. The interest payments for the new stadium combined with the current debt could be $300 million a year. Yep, could be. But what will Manchester United generate a year? And then when it's paid, what do we earn past that? Like I just said, the Bernabeu earns $365 million a year now on its own. That's running day to day. So that pretty much pays for itself. And then you've got everything else that Manchester United get, the sponsorships of certain stands and stalls and everything else that it generates in and around the stadium, the extra events that come in as well. This is what you've got to look at as well for Manchester United. And then if we are successful, then you're looking at more money coming in from Manchester United for being successful on the pitch. It is an investment. It's not so much an investment. It's a cost an expense that Manchester United know they can handle. And this is why they're building what they're building now. So, yeah. I think Manchester United are completely comfortable with how much the stadium is going to cost. I think investors will want to be part of this stadium and buying into Manchester United because they know what it brings. We're in our worst period ever and we're still turning over record revenues. Who wouldn't want to invest in that? Right. Don't forget, everybody, we are jumping straight across to football talks right after this video. For some reason, I cannot link the video right now on YouTube for some reason, so it's not redirecting. I'll have a quick I'll keep checking on that. I don't know if there's a malfunction with YouTube or anything like that. I'll just have a look into that. But I want to talk about Manchester United's academy players. I talked about this before, and the players in focus right now. One in particular, Shea Lacey, who was a big part of Manchester United's win this weekend over Liverpool. The under-21s, by the way, are having an absolute stormer of a season right now. An absolute stormer of a season with the under-18s and the under-21s. They are completely unbeaten, 100% record. Their toughest test so far this season was Liverpool yesterday. And that win yesterday from coming from behind was massive. But in that game, Shea Lacey, who we've talked about before, who is being linked away from Manchester United this January on loan, had several football clubs hovering around watching. Several scouts were there at the game. Shea Lacey is fit, he's playing, he's firing. He is the player that we all knew when he was 15, 16, absolutely destroying it in Manchester United's academy, that we thought he was going to be. And he is now looking likely to get a move away from Manchester United. It's simple. We haven't got enough games to give young academy players the right time. So Manchester United are working hard right now. I would love to see Shea Lacey in Man United's side, but I just don't think he's going to get in with everyone else in his position that could possibly play in front of him right now. There's too many. So Manchester United working on getting the right loan for Shea Lacey is exactly what is needed right now. And this is something that I've been big on before about getting the right loans. And you would have heard me say this so many times before, but get the right club for the right player. And that's what Johnny Evans is doing at the football club at the moment. So him, alongside the likes of Wilcox and maybe Amorim, and talking with Travis Binion and everyone at Manchester United right now, obviously at the academy level, being run properly, different people in place now. I think getting the right destinations, getting the right type of club for these players. Like, you cannot just throw someone into a club and think, there you go, he's got a decent loan. What about the way that that club is playing? What about the way that that club operates? How much game time is Shea Lacey going to get? Is it the right league for him? Is it the right level for him? This is where a football director comes in. All of this sort of stuff as well. And the structure of your football club. This is where this all takes over. So, again, I do think that this is massively important. And I think for him, I think for his level where he's at now and what's happening with Shea Lacey and him just coming through, I pray to God that this kid actually stays fit, because he is an absolute baller. He is so good. And you would have seen him on the Asia Tour post-season. After the Aston Villa game, when we did them games over in Asia, the 3 games, that he was featuring there quite a lot for Manchester United. Didn't get loads of game time in America, but that was because Ruben Amorim was looking to fix his first team squad. I think in pre-seasons to come, we'll start to see a lot more of Shea Lacey. And watch out for Shea Lacey on Manchester United's next tour, next summer, wherever we are. I think he's a player that Manchester United could possibly bring in and release other players, like sell a Joshua Zirkzee or a Mason Mount or something like that, if you wanted to. I'm not saying I want to do that right now. I want to give Zirkzee a chance if we can. I want to see more of Mason Mount. But if you were thinking of replacing a player, or you need to invest in another part of your team, say you want to go all in midfield, but you don't want to lose your depth up top, Lacey's that man. Lacey's that type of player that could go and actually feature for Manchester United off the bench on match days and come on and be the man that covers for Acuna and Mbeumo when they need a rest. Bruno Fernandes won't be here next year potentially, so there's another 10 spot that could open up there. That's where we're at. And I think what we're looking at here is with Lacey is a full operation for Manchester United to actually get this player in at the right club, and then ready for next season. I do think that this is what's happening right now. He is highly, highly, highly thought of at Manchester United. Well and truly. And that, I think, is a clear sign for me that they want him for next season, potentially for the first team. No, I'm just saying it. It may be a bold shout, but watch him play and then tell me that he isn't an absolute baller. just watch him play. I think he's been lined up for next season for some kind of role in the first team, but he needs games, and I think a 6-month loan in January will definitely benefit Shea Lacey. Pick the right club, though. Make sure that it is the right club for him. That's important right now. Chido scored the equaliser in that game, and he's come up for rave reviews of how he's adapted from the disappointment of leaving Manchester United's first team squad and having to go back to under-21 football. Let's not forget, he's still only 17. He should be playing under-18s. He's in the under-21s because he's so developed. But a lot of reports coming out. He's had a good start to the under-21 season as well, scoring a few goals also. And his overall game and the improvement in his overall game is coming. It is a learning curve for him because he's had to drop back down, and it could have just completely fallen away. He's seen the limelight, and now he's had to go back down to academy level. He wasn't ready. I think everybody could see he wasn't ready. A few cameos here and there gets everyone a little bit excited, yes, but still, I think he needed that time away. He needed to learn how it was going to be at Manchester United if he didn't make it. And now let's see what happens. He's had the right attitude. The reports coming in from these games have been that he's creating things out of nothing. He's doing more in games. He's setting up more. His link-up play is 20 times better. So we've got another striker there in the wings coming through also that could actually feature for Manchester United. And again, Lacey and Obe, I think these are players that we should be looking at as potential players for Man United's first team to come. And when we're talking about bringing in another striker, maybe we don't need another striker. Maybe another year for Obi and his development will push him into pre-season for Manchester United in behind Benjamin Sesko as another option for United. So, again there, another one there. Also on this as well, Diego Leon in Manchester United's under-21s yesterday playing. Obviously, we had high hopes for him, potentially maybe coming into the first team. Everything he was saying when he arrived, great. Wants to come in and prove to Amim that he's not an academy player. He wants to go right into the first team. Hasn't worked out that way. Well, I'm not surprised with the amount of games we've got. We've seen Harry Amask be sent on loan. Very good game for Harry Amask this weekend as well for Sheffield Wednesday on loan watch as well on that one. So, players in Manchester United's academy doing really well at the moment, and I think a real good sign for us going forwards, and looking forward to seeing what these players can then do again with all of this experience behind them in pre-season coming up in the summer as well. Quickly on the transfer news. Before that, please pop a like on the video if you're loving the content, everybody. Hit that subscribe button as well. Let's get marching up again. Thank you everyone who has been with us over the weekend with all of the content already. Thank you for all your support. It's been a busy old one. Transfer news. Obviously, the Elliot Anderson is the main one at the moment. There's lots of talk on Carlos Baleba still from what we said at weekend with the not so much fallout, but the aftermath of being linked with Manchester United and what Hertzler was saying, the Brighton manager, at weekend about Baleba. The acceptance that Manchester United rumour has really turned his head and affected him. It has. And even Hertzler's coming out and saying that now. So where we're at there with him, we will see. But at the moment, he is definitely not worth 100 million the way he's playing. So we said the other day, didn't we, that we're kind of glad that we've got to that point and we've not actually jumped in no matter what and bought this player, because he's been affected by the noises of Manchester United. What would he be like if he was at Manchester United? It's kind of worrying on that side for him, but we'll see. I do believe that he will actually come good anyway for Brighton this season. Let's just see how that develops. But Manchester United looking at Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson's stats, progressive passes, forward passes, things like this, they match only Bruno Fernandes. And again, if you're going to be looking to bring somebody in, I think Elliot Anderson is climbing that. He's climbing that pecking order in terms of who Manchester United could actually be looking at this January transfer window. And yes, January, United are ready to buy in January. That's still on the table for Manchester United. A report on Camavinga as well. First of all, we had Valverde at weekend. Then we've got Camavinga again. Now, Camavinga's been mentioned a few times before. He's out with an ankle injury at the moment, and I think he's played 1 minute for Alonso. But you've got a lot of players in front of him there, like Valverde, like Bellingham, like Tchouaméni. There's a lot. There's a lot of players in front of him right now, and he's still only 22. 68 million apparently is the price tag for Camavinga. And you're thinking about it, you go, if he's not getting minutes and would be open for Man United going into the summer, this would be. I don't think you'd get him in January. And United get back in Europe. Would you go for Camavinga over Baleba? I think I'd take the experienced player in Camavinga at 22. I love Camavinga. I think he's a fantastic player, and I would love him to be in our holding midfield. I think he offers so much more. He can play fullback, centre-back, and holding midfield. So, yeah, look, I'm not saying that Manchester United are giving up on Carlos Baleba, but I wanted to make the point before we finished up that there are other options. There are definitely other options when it comes to Manchester United and players that they can bring in to that midfield. There really is. Manny in with a super chat there. Don't forget Vitek. He's in the Championship. The best classroom for the EPL. Yep, playing tonight. I think they are Bristol. Chance to go right up there to the top. He's had a fantastic start to the season. Player of the month for Bristol, and they are still unbeaten in the Championship. So yeah, definite moves there, goalkeeper wise. We'll get into more on Lamans and probably guessing towards the back end of the week as we get close to the Brentford game, but that will come then. Right now, that is us all finished this morning, everybody. We are going to move across to Football Talks. We're going to go through all the Premier League games from weekend, have a bit of a review, the hits and misses of the weekend, and also talk about the managers that are in trouble. Thank you, everybody, for all of your super chats. Thank you for all of your comments in today on the live show as well. Keep them coming in the comment section afterwards. Don't forget to get onto your match bingo and grab your bonus now. Also, again, mods, thank you again in the chat there for helping out through the show this morning. Please give the video a like on the way out. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all over on Football